Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm PUTSY, and for today's video I'm going to do something a little bit different. By the title, I think you've already seen it. I'm going to choose my favorite Taylor Swift song from every single one of her albums, and also like the droplets, the one outside of her albums. I actually seen Megan Ring's video. I think it was on her Instagram story or her Instagram reel or something, I don't know, and I just thought it's going to be fun to do, especially since I'm also a huge Swiftie myself. I already make my list here and I'm trying my best to try to narrow it down to just 3 songs from each album, but I couldn't. If I can put every single songs of her on my favorite list, of course I will, because I love most, if not all, of her songs. So narrow it down to 3 was kind of impossible. I have at least 4 top 3 and 1 or 2 honorable mention. I hope that's okay, and I'm just going to tell you from the start here that some of the choices of mine may be a little bit controversial. If I don't list like a general Swiftie favorites, please don't get angry at me. This is just my personal opinion. Honestly, this is the one that I rarely listen to as a whole album. There are a couple of songs in there that I don't even remember, but if I listen to it and see the title, I will immediately, oh yeah, of course, that's the song. I will know. Debut is one of the most country in her discography. I'm not a huge fan of country, I'm just a fan of Taylor Swift, so I think no matter what genre she venture on, I will just love her music because it's hers, which is why I think I don't really connect to debut album as much. Debut is like my least favorite album of hers, but it was a great debut album. My number 1 favorite from debut is Teardrops on My Guitar. It's one of the best ballad on that album. She's such a great storyteller, not just through her songwriting but also through her voice. She convey a lot of emotions through it. I can feel every single word, every single emotion on that song. Overall, love them. I don't really remember the song much on top of my head, but every time I listen to it, if it comes on shuffle, this stands out to me. I'm only me when I'm with you. I just love the vibe of this song. Happy, and it just makes you wanna really lift up your spirit. I think, at least for me. Invisible, I think it's like a tie between I'm Only Me and Invisible. I don't know which one I want to put in 3rd position. It's not my favorite album, but it will always hold a special place in my heart just because this is the first album that made me fall in love with her. But don't get me wrong, overall it's such a great album. I mean, it's the most awarded country album for a reason. It won so many Grammy for a reason. It's just overall such a great cohesive album. You're Not Sorry, I will always put this song on top of my list. If Fearless is a special album, You're Not Sorry is the special song. This is actually the one that made me a Swiftie. Always reminds me of all of the heartbreaks that I experienced in my teenage years, and it will always transport me to that time. Music always have that kind of power over me. I don't think this is underrated. A lot of Swiftie love them, but it's not spoken enough. Forever and Always, but the piano version. The original version I love, but I feel like the piano version really bring the emotion even more to life. The Best Day, I just love the topic of this song. It's about her family when she grew up. This song feels like a comfort blanket. Honestly, feels like home. If you put the word home and cozy and love, made it into a song, this is what it sounds like, not just in terms of the lyric but also the melody and the production. You Belong With Me, it's very hard for me to choose because I love all the songs and I love Love Story. You Belong With Me always makes me want to jump up and down and dancing alone in my room. It's just, the vibe is really something else. I think it's also one of the first songs that made me want to check her out and her album. I listened to Love Story first, but it didn't really grab me immediately, unlike You Belong With Me, and because of that I'm now a Swiftie. But I also love Untouchable so much. I understand why it's not as popular, and didn't get as much love in general public, but also amongst Swifties. It's not as cohesive of an album as Fearless. I think Taylor herself said it. It's not as cohesive. The production is a little bit all over the place, but the individual songs in there are insanely good, like really strong. A lot of my favorite, like overall her best song in my opinion, are hidden in Speak Now, which is a shame because a lot of people know less about it, as in the general public. And the crazy thing is, of course, she wrote this album all on her own. The first one, Haunted, at the time it was one of her darkest songs. It really jumped out at me. It's so different to any other songs that she put out up until that moment. It also kind of have the same vein as in I Know Places. I don't know, like it has a similar vibe. They're like sisters in my opinion, and the live performance of it during Speak Now tour was something else. The bell, her voice, it's just incredible. Last Kiss, one of the saddest song from her, I think, specifically because of that breath during the bridge. If you know, you know. She was like trying to catch her breath and stop herself from crying at the same time. I listened to it like hundreds to thousands of times probably at this point, but that part still makes me shiver and makes me wanna cry. I don't know how she can re-record that part specifically, but I hope she somehow managed to tap into that emotion again and emulate that part specifically. But nonetheless, even without that part, this song in itself is phenomenal, which is why I think I need to take a moment to thank Joe Jonas. It's sad that he broke up with her over the phone, but also made Taylor write some of her best, saddest song. So I guess thank you. And it's also funny because she said your name will forever be the name on my lips. She meant Joe Jonas, but then now she also in a very good healthy relationship, potentially will be married to a guy named Joe. So be careful of what you said, guys, because it can come back and come true in one way or another. Enchanted, the word enchanted really fitting for the song because the song in itself sounds so magical. The lyric is amazing and the production is magical. It's just very enchanted. The story of us and Long Live. The story of us, no matter what type of mood I'm in, when I listen to that song, I will just be happy but angry and sad at the same time, but also wanna dance. So weird. Long Live, actually in terms of the melody, I like Back to December and Dear John more, but I put this here as honorable mention because of the lyric. She wrote this about her band, her experience during Fearless tour, and also about us Swiftie, so it will always have a special place. Every time I listen to it, I just imagine myself in a Taylor Swift concert, crying, singing, screaming the songs, even though I never been to. So yeah, but I think I also should include Mean as a song in general. It's not like my top 3 from this album, but the lyric itself put this into one of Taylor Swift's most important song in her discography. Should have won Album of the Year at the Grammy, but I understand why it's not. Just like Speak Now, it's not as cohesive as Fearless or 1989 production-wise, but individually, songs from Red are just really strong. Number 1, of course, All Too Well. Everyone will get angry at me if I don't include that, but I honestly agree that All Too Well is definitely on top 3 of her best song ever. Like, should I say more? No, because I think we all understand why. Red itself, I just love the lyric and the feeling that it gives me. She used the color to describe her emotions really well, and her performance of it, I think it was from Country Music Award or something, with a couple other legends from country music. Way more acoustic and it's so beautiful, but I always knew that this song is special even before that performance. Begin Again, I just love the feeling that it gives me. Just so comforting, that happy innocent stage of a relationship. Just like the lyric, it really sounds kind of hopeful, which is why I love it so much. State of Grace, especially especially the original version. The production is really gorgeous because it sounds kind of pulled back. Feels like you're in a tunnel. You know that moment in The Perks of Being a Wallflower when David Bowie's song Driving Through the Tunnel, middle of the night? It's like that. It gives that kind of feeling for me, and it's just so beautiful. Of course, one of the best pop album ever. Style, I think probably in my top 10 favorite songs from her ever. Especially that intro, that guitar, just something else. And the music video, people should listen to it more, people should watch that video more. Clean, I love the production, simple but also intricate at the same time, just so unique. The lyric of it is amazing, it gives me that kind of sad but hopeful feeling. I Know Places, it's amazing. I just love how dark the production is, but also fit the whole theme of 1989, and it's kind of like a sneak peek for Reputation, even though at that time, of course, she didn't know that she will write that kind of album, but it sounds like a bridge between 1989 and Reputation. Blank Space, I feel like I should put this in my top 3, but I also love the other 3 like a smidge more, but I feel like it's a tie top 3 with I Know Places. It's crazy that the instrumentation is very simplistic, but they somehow managed to make it sound so rich, and I love the fact that this is satirical and this is like a joke about what media depiction of her. The lyric is so fun, melody, the production is great. It is a phenomenal pop song. Reputation is one of my favorite albums, definitely in my top 3. I love it from the very first listen, more than 1989 for some reason. I feel like Reputation is such a great combination of pop, a little bit of like edge to it. It has a hip-hop influence to it. It's just overall unique, but I think it's a little bit ahead of its time. In my opinion, this specific album is the kind of album that you should listen to as a whole, as an album. Reputation and Folklore are 2 albums that you should always listen to as a whole. Perfect that way. It tells a whole story and it's very cohesive. The more you listen to it, the more you like it. One of the more underrated songs of Reputation. People don't get the song because of the production. Doesn't really match the lyric, but I think it actually matches so well. This song talks about they have to hide relationship, it's kind of private, and they kind of mask the relationship. When people look at them, they look like they're not in a relationship, but they actually are. The song itself, it's like that. The song is actually sad, but she masked the fact that the song is sad with such a fun production. I don't know, it's just unique in my opinion. Such a beautiful, gorgeous song. I love the way she talks about relationship. You're not just going to be there when you're happy, when the time is good, but you should also be there for each other when it's hard. I love how raw the production is, and it's just, I feel like I'm listening to her in the same room. I Did Something Bad should be a single. Still angry about that. Getaway Car and I Did Something Bad should have been a single. I just love her attitude in this song. The live performance, great. It's just so badass. My honorable mention, I think people will get angry at me because it's not Getaway Car, it's actually Dress. I love Getaway Car, and that bridge is one of her best bridge ever, and the fact that she wrote it in like 10-15 seconds with Jack Antonoff is just crazy. But I love Dress a little bit more. Her voice during the chorus is just so gorgeous and breathtaking. I love when she said stops and then the music stops. Yeah, I love it. The first one is a very underrated song, but I also understand why, because it's quite different and new for her to do a song like this, which is False God. It has a little bit of blues, jazz influence in it. I love the way she sings in this song. It always put me in a good cozy vibe. Of course, Cruel Summer also should have been a single. Jack Antonoff mixed with Taylor is like a match made in heaven. That bridge, Chef's Kiss. Afterglow, another underrated songs in my opinion. Kind of debating over Afterglow or Cornelia Street, but for some reason I love Afterglow a little bit more. I love the meaning of the song, admitting her fault in a relationship, and that beat, that drum beats. I think one of the reasons why I love this song so much. Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. A lot of, if not all, Taylor Swift song is very like storytelling and cinematic. You can always picture the scenes in your head as you listen to the song, but this is like something else. It's not just put you in a scene, but it just sounds like a movie, but it's a song. It's so weird. It's just so cinematic. I love the way she talks about politics but mask it in this teenage storyline. If you understand the song, it means like more important lyrically, but you can also correlate it to your own personal life, your own school life. The double meaning of the song is just extraordinary. Now Folklore, which is one of my absolute favorite Taylor Swift albums. I don't know if I like Evermore more or Folklore, but I love both of them. Like, I've been waiting for this moment for her to make this kind of album forever, but I'm also glad that she came up with this during the pandemic because it fits the time so perfectly. I think people are just ready for this kind of album from her, but also in general. It deserves all the attention, all the love, and the great reviews. And my absolute favorite, This Is Me Trying. It will always be in one of my favorite Taylor Swift song ever because of the meaning of it. Hardships, mental health issues, depression, and the part where she sings At Least I'm Trying. So beautiful and just hits you in the heart. Conversations she had with Jack during the Folklore Long Pond studio sessions about this particular song is just always makes me wanna cry. I feel like I'm in a therapy with her and I relate to the song so much, which is why this will forever be one of the most important songs from me, from her. The Lakes, I think also quite underrated. This song just feels so magical and peaceful. This is what serenity feels like to me, and her vocal in this is just absolutely breathtaking. The low is very low, but then she also goes up to this beautiful head voice. The melody in the chorus and around the bridge is beautiful, and it's just a poetic masterpiece. August, overall great songs, a lot of people's favorite. I love the tone of the song. Another great songs to drive to. It's a little bit like pull back. Her vocal is not very like at the front of the song. Instrumentation carry the song a little bit more than her vocal, but her vocal in this is also amazing. The song really picks up, get better and better and better. The last minute of the song is just really special. And of course, it's Jack and Taylor, Illicit Affair. I don't know what it is about the song. It's not very personal for her, but she managed to convey these illicit affairs in a very different light. Somehow I can relate to it, even though I've never been in an illicit affairs kind of relationship. Makes me really see the other person in a relationship, this third person, and see her pain. She managed to make everyone in this messy relationship visible. Wanna believe you. My absolute favorite is of course Champagne Problems. The fact that Taylor and Joe managed to write this heartbreak song. I don't know how they managed to do it, even though they're in a really healthy relationship. Like, what goes through their mind, I can't even begin to imagine, but this is such a beautiful song. I love how simple and raw it is. I love the storytelling. It's one of those very storytelling based cinematic song. Melody, production, everything is just gorgeously heartbreaking. Tis the Damn Seasons. I don't know what it is about this song, but it's just such a great, comforting but also sad song. My third favorite of this album, I don't know, not a lot of people talk about this song, which is Evermore. For some reason, there's just something about Evermore and the last part of the song that makes me really love it. Like, it's hard for me to choose the top 3 from this album. I Love Marjorie, Cold Rush, Tolerated, Ivy, Coney Island. I feel like it's between Coney Island and Evermore for me in my number 3 spot. But Evermore, it's a little bit weird the way it picks up that Bon Iver part. The first listen, oh, like, whoa, what's going on here? But the more I listen to it, the more I enjoy it. That's the voice of Bon Iver that I'm accustomed to, but Exile is also very special, so I don't know which Bon Iver I like more, but I love both versions. Tolerated. The story in this song is just very heartbreaking. I don't need to say any more about this song, it's just sad. I don't know which track 5 song I like more. Actually, it's either All Too Well, Tolerated, or My Tears Ricochet. I love every single songs that she put out outside of albums, but these 3 jumps out at me every time. First one being Seven Sound. Like, we've been longing for folklore, I think, ever since Seven Sound. This is like the beginning, like the seed that will become folklore and Evermore. Her vocal in this song is beautiful. It's quite a hard song to sing beautifully, and she did it. I hope she re-record this song because it's one of my absolute favorite song from her. I Don't Wanna Live Forever. I love Taylor's and Zayn's vocal together here. The production, just everything about this song is amazing. Last song, Better Man by Little Big Town, but it's written by Taylor. Technically, it's still her song, and she sang this a couple of times live already, especially in that Bluebird Cafe. We'll forget about the fact that it has that man in that footage talking and ruining the performance. I hope she include this song in re-recording. I love the fragility of this song, and it makes me angry, it makes me sad. It also great that she realized her worth and get out of the relationship. Overall, it's such a sad but great song. So those are my lists. It's very hard for me to choose. I know some of you will like scream at your screen and say, why not this song or whatever. I know, but I'm sorry, it's just my personal opinion. If you have a different list, please share them down below. Comment what's your favorite songs from each album, and let me know if you want to see this kind of video again from me for another artist, or maybe do another type of Taylor Swift content here on my channel. I will gladly do that in the future. And if you do enjoy this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. That will help me a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I can see you in another video. Bye guys.